in Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard on ACT, and it's always a pleasure every Tuesday evening where we come into your homes to bring you something that's relevant in sport in Trinidad and Tobago. Before we get into tonight's program, I just want to say a big congratulations to Abigail Vieira. She is the first and only female athlete ever to compete at the Winter Youth Olympics, and she's the first skier actually to be taking part representing Trinidad and Tobago. She didn't place in the top, three to medal, but first time she did us proud. So again, Abigail, congrats and well done. And we look forward to you in the next Olympics, improving. So again, congrats. Tonight we want to talk to one of our top female para-Olympian. She has already qualified for the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, and she's hard at training right now, and we're going to find out what she has been up to. We're going to do a quick recap on 2019, and as we look forward to 2020, what's in store. So again, let me introduce my guest for tonight, Noyoshia Cain Claxton. The last time she was on Scoreboard, she was Cain. Now she got married and it's now Claxton. So first of all, congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you very much.
And we hope that everything is okay with you.
Yes, it's good.
Right. Para-Olympics in Trinidad and Tobago is a sport that is not, to me, you could correct me, not fully recognized by the wider public. We're more into the traditional, athletics, World Games and all the different things. But you, along with Chantal McLean,
Chantal Ince.
Chantal Ince, yes. Hakim Stewart and Mr. Green, the weightlifter. You all have been flying the flag of Trinidad and Tobago in this sport for a number of years, and people seem not too inclined to pay a lot of attention to what you all have been doing. But tonight we want to put the facts out there and let the population and the public know of what you all have been doing. First of all, let me start with you. How you got into this sport? And I want you to explain to the wider public, because people, as we were talking off camera, people will be seeing you sitting here with me and they'll want to know Paralympics, and their mind will go straight to the people with disabilities, right? Mm-hmm. Explain to us, so we can understand the Paralympics and the para-athlete and your role as a 100 and 200 meters runner.
Okay, so para-athletes, right? It's basically, yes, persons with disabilities, and there are different range in the disabilities. So some disabilities may be mild, mm-hmm. like mine, mm-hmm. and some may be extreme to the fact that you either have to wear prosthetics or in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. So para-athletics or Paralympics on the whole cater for athletes with disabilities, and it's just for them to be active, because we as people, now we are trying to get more into the being athletes, or trying to be more active as individuals, right? So much more a person with disabilities, sometimes it's for therapy, sometimes it's just to feel a part, and I think that is why it was created. And persons with disabilities should be really active, for me, it helped me a lot because I was born with something called hemi-hyperatrophy syndrome, right? Mm-hmm.
Could you explain what
yeah, I'm going to explain. So I only found out what it was when I got into Paralympics, like the actual name of it when I got into Paralympics. But since I know myself, I've been I was born with one side of my body bigger than the other, and the limbs shorter and whatnot. So basically my left side is smaller and shorter than my right side. And been growing up with that, I couldn't really walk for long, couldn't stand for long, you know. So I had a lot of problems with just my foot, right? And getting into sports, I've always active in sports. Since I know myself, I was always into sports from primary school, come up. You know, I've always been active in sports, and it actually helped me a lot as an individual to, you know, strengthen my bones, you know, strengthen every muscle that was weak. So it helped me, and getting into Paralympics made me become more competitive where that is concerned. And now I see where as an individual, certain things that I couldn't do before, like I was into gymnastics. Plenty of people wouldn't know that, but I was into gymnastics. And you would think being a gymnast you'll be flexible, but I wasn't flexible at all. Couldn't do most of this stuff. So I was like, you know what, this is not for me. I couldn't touch my toes, I couldn't do that, but I love gymnastics. So what happened, as I got into para-athletics, I actually developed more, and I become more flexible than I was when I was younger.
Before,
So that has actually helped me as an individual grow physically, right? I started actually doing athletics professionally back in 2013, I believe it was, 2013. And I was training with a club in Arima called Cougars. So I was training, you know, just probably excited to compete. I think every athlete is always excited to compete. I did get my chance to compete in 2015, so like a whole year after, that's when I started to compete, like 2015. And it was 2014, sorry. 2014, I started to compete. I went to my first major games, well, it wasn't that major, but my first international games, I would say, in Mexico, December. And I actually won the race. I mean, so it was good. I felt good. I was like,
so you went there representing Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, I went to represent Trinidad and Tobago. So it was like, good. I feel good. I was like, I can do this thing. So I won the both 100 and 200 meters there. Then I went on to 2015, competing on my first World Games. So just like no competition not doing any competition at all. And I actually came third in the 100 meters, which was like a big achievement for me. I mean, Trinidad and Tobago may not have known we would have went to these games, but I was like, this is something that plenty of people, or a lot of people, cannot do, right? Just started training and you just reach, and just so you get in medals. It's like, where you come out from.
I'm sure you're going to be competing with athletes from abroad.
Yes.
Because what people fail to realize is that the athletes that you all are competing against, that is their profession, you know. Although they might be in a wheelchair or something, but they live, breathe, and not like across here where you have to go and train and then go to work and, you know, things like that. So people have to understand that. Yeah,
and that's how I started off. I started off, you know, going to work, going to training.
I think you used to work at the ministry. It was the ministry?
Yes, I used to work at the Ministry of Health. So I used to go to training on a morning early, like 5 o'clock in the morning, then go to work, and then I was at Bible school. So going to Bible school after. So I did that for like 2 years straight. And then I decided, you know what, I'll stop working and I'll go, I'll do track full time. So I did that. So that was like after the Olympics in 2016. I did that.
That was your first Olympics?
That was my first Olympics. Yeah. So that Olympics, what
that experience was like for you?
Nerve-wracking. Like, I was, I'm at the Olympics. Like, this is a big thing. Plenty of people would love to just be, they could probably just stand up in our Olympic stadium as an athlete representing your country.
Where was that?
That's in Rio, Brazil.
Yeah.
So that was like, it was really a nice experience. I just had one hiccup, and I think that memory will stay with me forever. When I was like so excited to run my 200 race, and I don't know if it was news, but I was like, okay, I got this. I don't need to run as hard because just qualifying wrong. I got this. You know, I just want to run the finals, make my first medal in 200 meters, you know. And I actually came third in the qualifying rounds. And by the time I reached to the back to change my clothes and stuff, I saw a DQ.
Oh my.
I was like,
you're an Audi lane or something
yeah,
like that?
they said I matched the line.
Okay.
So I was like, no, this is not happening. This is not happening. This is so not happening. So I really cried. I didn't know how to control myself. I was like, real is a terrifying, horrible experience. It's very horrible. That's one thing I think athletes do not want to happen at them at a major meet. After having prepared and train so hard and work so hard to reach where you are, and then to find out, okay, you got DQ'd or your fault start, you know.
That reminds me of the incident with Linford Christie, remember, when in that Olympics, when he got disqualified for the false start, and he refused to come off the court.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, you know, it's heartbreaking.
It's something that you want to fight for. It's like, So I was like, I called my coach then and I told him, no, somebody needs to go and protest. Something needs to happen. I need to run the finals. So happened, couldn't run the finals. And you know, that one thing that I had to do was to find the strength to forget about that and to move on.
That was the what, 100 meters?
That's the 200 meters.
200. You didn't run the 100?
No,
okay.
Didn't run it as yet.
So you didn't have anything to say you could go and...
No, yeah, the 100 meters was like some 2 days after.
Okay.
So
okay.
I had to just put that race behind me and find strength again
For the
to
100.
go out again, to make no mistakes for the 100. Running the 100, I was in lane 8. Remember that race just like yesterday. I was in lane 8 and just ready to run, setting my blocks, come out really, really good, really strong. And about 10 meters, and like I am seeing myself in front, looking to hit the finish line, coming first. 10 meters before the finish line, I felt a pull in my hamstring. I was like, Jesus, it's either you push me to that finish line, I fall along by that finish line, something happened, but don't make me fall along before the finish line. So it so happened that I just stumbled and I just, reached the finish line. I was like, okay, great. When I looked up, I was like, okay, I don't think I'll make it. So I was looking around and I was in shock. When I saw third, I was like, yes, at least I could say, I did something good.
Yeah.
In spite of how the race went, at least I came out with a bronze medal, and that was actually a good memory, one of my major achievements thus far.
How did that drive you to those? Well, you had an up and a down, right? Right. How did that experience motivate you to push you to really, grow from that whole experience? What did that experience do for you?
It actually helped me to notice that there are some things in me that I didn't notice before, and I probably wouldn't have noticed if it is I wasn't in track. Because sometimes, not until you end up in a situation, then you realize how strong you are. And I think a lot of people may not have been able to bounce back and, work as hard to say, okay, well, I am not leaving without something around my neck. And I think that's how I am still today. I mean, sometimes, not all the time you'll be on a high, not all the time you'll be like, yes, I want this. And it's like, sometimes like, why doing this for? I mean, you have your down moments, but when you're at, you kind of let your down moments outweigh your good moments, right? And I have always strived to always keep that positive mindset, because sometimes track and field is a lonely sport. Yes, you may have your colleagues around you,
Yeah,
you know, training. But when you reach on that start, it's just you alone. So it's everything you did before will now come and reflect on the track. And you have to have a good day. You can't go into a race thinking that you're a failure. And I went into one of my races like that. I being very honest, in 2017, my 200 meters, I think the 100 meters was first. I got the bronze in the 100 meters, and then I had the 200s to run. And I was like, so many things was going on at that time, and I was like, you know what, I already get a medal, and the place is cool. I don't feel like it's worth it to go and run my heart out in this cold place. And it's like, I was just like not feeling it that day. I got up and, you know, I was like not feeling it, and so sad, so done, not feeling it. I didn't even run to say I run the race, and then everything just started to go down from there, because it's like you hit that down moment in your career. It's like you're not feeling to do it anymore, you don't have the passion to do it anymore. So that, see, at the end of 2017 season to the end of 2018, I was like, I'm not feeling to do track and field anymore. Because sometimes it's like you do so much for the sport and you get so little back in return.
Yeah, I heard that from a lot of people already.
Yeah, you do so much. It's like, I am waking up every morning,
the sacrifice,
sacrificing. Yeah. And as I always say, if you're doing it for yourself, it's not a problem, you know. But when you start to do it for the country and to, you know, sacrificing is basically you carrying the country on your shoulders when you go there, you know, because you represent what your country have to give and what your country have to offer. And seeing that, you know, even when we go out, it's like people, it's like, oh, they went somewhere.
Yeah, you don't get the type of, unless you don't win a major medal, that's it. You could come back in the airport and all you will meet is the taxi waiting for you.
Yes, that is so true.
And because I clearly remember Keyshawn won all kind of thing in Trinidad, nobody take him on. When Keyshawn went the senior champs, nobody in the stadium. But when he won the gold medal, he came back. I mean, the airport full with people, and that is what that is what we're looking at, right? At how you appreciate your athletes. But we need to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about what's ahead in 2020 and looking back 2019 and the past. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment? Right, so we'll be right back after this. We'll be right back after this short break.
30 years ago, the Paralympic movement looked very different. Everybody thought it was mad to start a games for people with a disability. There was barely anybody in the stands. Mostly in the earlier days, you used to have to be carried on and off coaches in order to get to the venues. We had no speciality equipment. In those days, you used your everyday wheelchair, not what you'd call a racing machine. The first games were primarily European. There were only a few countries involved. At the start, the public thought that the Paralympics was just about participation. I guess people thought that it wouldn't be very exciting to watch.
Oh, that's an amazing shot! Absolutely superb.
No one really knew who we were.
We're starting to see new faces become heroes overnight.
People had a very negative perception of disability.
We will never think of sport the same way, and we will never think of disability the same way.
People thought it would never take off.
More participants, more sports, the movement is very strong.
When you look how far we've come in the last 30 years, just imagine where we can go next.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Scoreboard ACT, and we are chatting with Noyoshia Cain Claxton, para-Olympian, person who has done a lot for the sport in Trinidad and Tobago. Before the break, we were talking about some of your accomplishments during the when you started up to 2019. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment, that something that you hold dear to your heart so far in your career?
I'd say the Pan Am Games was the greatest one for me.
That's the one in Peru, right?
Yes, Peru.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why I would say that is because 2018 was hard. The beginning of 2019 was even harder because it's like married now. But I went through a phase where I gained weight because I was in training. It's just eating, living life, you know. Because I was studying if to come back to track and field or not, you know. Just
what made you come back to track and field?
I don't feel as though I had fully accomplished what it is I needed to accomplish, and I didn't want to live in regrets. I shoulda, if I could, you know, and I don't want to live in that moment. I want to be able to, when I complete it, I say, okay, yes, I have accomplished all that I needed to accomplish, and I feel that the task that was given is completed, right? So 2019, in going to Peru was like, yes, this is first Pan Am. I'm so ready, like, let's do this thing. Didn't expect the weather to be that cool.
Yeah, I was watching some highlights there. Yeah, the weather was terrible.
Did not expect the weather to be that cool. And despite the weather and, well, you know, barely having clothes, it's like, yeah, they're all cool. The 200, I was just going into it like, because I didn't train for the 200. I had some injuries, so I wasn't really training. I was more like, okay, I'll just do the 100 meters this year and train for the 200 meters come 2020, that kind of thing. But they told me that, you know, just in case we don't get any meets for you to qualify for the Olympics. For the 200 meters, you know, we think you should at least run it, you know, just do your best just to get a time. And I went, and I think if it is I had gone out there and say, okay, we're going to do this to win it, and not that I am going to run this just to get a time, I think I would have been able to do much better, even though I wasn't training for it. But nevertheless, I got third place, which was, I was real happy. The person who got second place, she was like grumpy, and I was like, girl, I am so happy right now. You would not even believe it.
You made the qualifying time?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, listen, this is a great accomplishment for me because I wasn't training, and to know that I wasn't training and I could still come out here and do what I did today, that is something good, you know. For the 100 meters, I was so nervous, like nervous to the part every minute I was in the toilet. It was like real nervous, right? And then I was like, you know what, God, if it is I do not produce anything but first place in this 100 meters, I don't think I come back to track and field, because it's like, it proved to me now that then it not really worth it anymore. Like, you know, I think your time, that was just a season you went through, and, you know, call it season, say thanks for it and thanks for everything it's done, and call it judge. But when I went out there, the starter was taking so long, and I was like, this is mad.
Yeah, I find even in the games before, I find the starters were taking very long.
They were taking, I start to quarrel. I was like, yo, that's taking too long.
Yeah, especially
this is cold. We have on basically nothing here, so you need to hurry up. So sad, you know, they kind of speed up and we get the race going. I was like, I hope nobody do false start. I hope nothing happens. Just run on one race and we're good to go. And I give the best start that I could have give for that race. And I saw I won. I was like, yeah, got it good. Got it. I cannot say that I did that by myself, because I know that my training was all over the place, because I was moving from coach to coach. I was just like all over the place. So to know that people who are training, and they're training, when I heard like afterwards, you know, I would have spoken to the girls and them, and they were telling me that, you know, they're doing this professionally now, and that's all they do. And I was like, I have to go to work and go to training after work. Sometimes after work is like, I want to go home and sleep. I don't want to go and train and, you know, all these kind of things, and you're doing this professionally. And I was like, God is you. So I say thanks, and that was it, you know. But that experience has shown me that, you know, nothing in this life we could say we do it on our own. You know, we need the help of God to be able to do what we do. And during my years of track and field, I have seen where things have worked in my favor when I know that can't be me, you know. And I look forward to this 2020 season. Training has been going good. Losing the weight, the marriage, you know, the marriage weight, you know, the certain you get married is close. So
now, you changed coach, right?
Yeah.
You know, your new coach has gone in Special Simplex.
Yeah, Simplex.
Right. So let's talk about the preparation. You're qualified for the 2020 Olympics.
Yeah.
Right. In the both 100 or 200.
Both.
Both. Right. What are your preparation and your daily schedule is like now?
So 2020, I decided. Well, 2019, I sat down with my husband and I said, I want to give 2020 track and field season everything that I have. I feel as though I have not given it my all, right? I feel as though, you know, for 2019 it was lacking, something was lacking. And I told him I want to make the sacrifice and train full-time. And I know it's going to be hard, because financially it's just one person going to be able to, you know, provide for the home. And he's like, no problem, I support you and everything that you want to do. I said, so now I'm actually doing morning and evening training. So on the mornings I go to the gym 3 times to the week, and then 4 to 5 times to the in the afternoon I go to the track to train.
Where you train at
Mani Ramjan.
Right, okay.
Right. So training has been going good. I actually last week was like my first week doing the full training session for the year, full week training session for the year. And I was like, how was I doing this thing, working and training and sometimes going to the gym after training? So it's like I reach, you know, minutes to 10. How was I even able to do all of that when I would just last week I was training in the morning, go home, take a rest, go back to training, and when I reach back home from training I want to go back and sleep. So it's like, how was I able to do all of these things and still work? And I think when you do all those things, your body don't really get to produce produce the right, how to say this? I don't think you just get enough out of your training.
Yeah.
Because your body's so tired, it can't really go as much as it should.
That's why the athletes overseas always have that edge over our locally based athletes.
Yeah, and I think if we as Trinidadians see sport as something, as a profession, because sometimes we walk into, like when we're traveling and they ask us, what do you do? And we say we are professional athletes. They'll be like, what is that? They don't know nothing about that. Some places don't even know anything. Like when you come back home, it's like, what is a professional athlete? What do you mean you're a professional athlete? So what do you do for income? In Trinidad and Tobago, you cannot even go to the bank and say, hey, I'm a professional athlete. No, you can't do that. You would not get a loan. You can't even open a bank account saying you're a professional athlete. Yeah. And I am sure in other countries they could do that.
Yeah. And you see, the sad part about it is when you have given your life for the sport in Trinidad and Tobago and you retire at 28, 29 or 30, you know, that is when you now have to go and look for a job, you know. So it come like 30 years you have given your life to the country, but as an individual, you have wasted 30 years of being
That's
employed.
So true. That's so true.
Because there is nothing in place for athletes to say, well, okay, they will take you now and give you a coaching job with other athletes.
Yeah.
Or you understand? You have to go and fend for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And all they do is that 2 or 3 years or 10 years represent the country, everybody will have you up there. But when you retire, that's it. You fend for yourself. And as you said, no bank can go in and say, okay, I will take a chance because you give 10 years of your life to the country. Let me give you something, or not give you something, but let me give you an opportunity. Right? I'll give you a loan, and
no,
right?
That's not the case. And in my view, when you retire from track and field, or you retire from your sport, talking about any sport you're in once you represent the country, I am sure that most people, they advise you to make sure and have an education. Once it is you have your degree, I believe that there should be something in place that you should fall right into the system.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And this is you working for your country now. You should now come and work for your country. You give to the country at least give you back something. Yeah. You ain't asking for something free. Yeah. But give you a job that you will work and obtain, something like that. But before we end tonight, what you have to go to all these different meets. Right? How do you acquire sponsorship? Are you lacking? What is needed right now? So right now, in about two months' time, I would be having a concert. Which part? Where and when? Most likely at the Cookie Open Bible Church. Okay. So just to raise funds, I'm not looking at a fee to charge anybody, because I believe as Christians, I don't think you should pay for something, even though it's a fundraiser. So, you just come and you give your offering just to show your support, right? And so I'm looking at raising funds myself and writing to different companies to get sponsorship. What about the Olympic Committee and Ministry of Sports? How do they... the Olympic Committee does help us once we send letters to states, we are going to travel abroad. We send our letters and we get our funding. Ministry of Sports, you have to take a little while before you can get that money, but you might get it. It was the day before, but you might get it. It might take a while, but you might get it. So I think, they are really trying to, especially as Olympic year, they are trying to get the athletes really funded to be able to train and to be able to go out there and compete, to be well prepared for 2020 Olympics. Right. So you the disadvantage with you all too is that you all get the opportunity to have much meets or competition before your major competition. That is so true. Right? Because we have no meets in the Caribbean that you could say you're going to. So you just have to train and just get into competition, which is unfair in the sense, where the other athletes, they will have They go from every, like for instance, in Netherlands, they go to training camps in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes they compete every weekend or every weekend they go to different meets. So I want that experience this year. I want to be able, not train different parts of the world, but I want to be able to compete as much as I could. Yes, I have the local meets, but I am not competing until March due to my late season, due to my late start in training.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to go out there, go to Paris, go to the Netherlands, go to their competitions in the US. I want to be able to go to those places and train to be able to get the development that I need to be able to produce a medal at the Olympic Games.
Right. Now, when you'll be leaving for the Olympics?
I know the games are scheduled to be in September, so I'm not sure. They haven't really tell us anything concerning when we're leaving. But I actually do hope that we get to go early, because sometimes we go like some days before our competition.
Yeah,
and
it's hard to adjust.
It's really hard to adjust. Like, many people may not have known that we went to the World Championships in Dubai in 2019 in November. Many people did not know that because we didn't get a medal.
Yes, yeah.
So many people did not know that. And that was one of our, Akim and I, we had a lot of challenges on that trip. The trip was really long. And to be able to go, I went like 2 days before my competition. So thank God it got cancelled.
Yeah, so you had...
So I had an extra day. And then even though with that extra day, I didn't even, the access to training venue was really hard. So it's not like when we go to trips and we don't produce a medal, it's like even you don't see the you don't feel appreciated.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and sometimes people do not know the circumstances what we went under or the circumstances we face when we go to those places. And I think that people need to learn to appreciate what athletes do for this country, not only track and field athletes, but athletes on a whole, because I mean we put in our lives on hold.
Yeah, that's true.
We are putting our lives on hold to make Trinidad and Tobago what it is. Let's say if Hazy Crawford had put his life on, had said, you know what, I want a family early, you know, let me not run. We would not have our first medal, you know. So I think we need to appreciate our athletes, you know, not only when after some donkey years ago when they don't get old, we look into appreciate them.
Most of the time we want to appreciate people when they're dead.
Yeah.
And
I find that appreciate people when they're alive and when they're still in the sport, you know. Sometimes like America have a lot of people doing speeches every other weekend, going into the schools, going into the communities, where we are in Trinidad. It's like ever so often if you know the government wants to, you know, look like if they're doing something to see, they would want to say, okay, let's carry them into the schools. So I think we need to do more, you know, and if we allow the athletes who are role models to go into the schools, there will be a lot less crime, a lot less children who are going through violence in the schools and all these kind of things. So I think, you know, we need more role models, and in every sports, I think we should be able to go into the schools and develop the schools where sport is concerned, because I think Trinidad and Tobago is one of the countries that lack sporting activities in the schools. We have none.
Well, Noyoshia, it was a pleasure chatting with you. Let me wish you all the best in your training and as you look forward to 2020, the Olympics in Tokyo. And I am certain that you're going to go out there and you're going to do your best, and we're going to be rooting for you. Let me wish you all success, and I know that after the Olympics, or even before, I will chat with you again.
Thank you very much.
So all the best. Viewers, we have been chatting with Para-Olympian Noyoshia Cain Claxton. She was telling us about her start in the sport and what are some of the challenges and some of the ups and some of the downs, and as she look forward to the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. We want to keep her in our prayer, and we hope that she's going to stay fit, and if it's one medal, We're looking for 2, but we'll take 1. Right? And we wish you all success. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to have some other guests on the program as we continue to talk sports on Scoreboard. So we'll be right back after the short break.
We, from those encounters together, and this was a North-South game to open the season.
So the team might be playing well, as we always say with Trinidad and Tobago.
Futsal did that great for me.
Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to another edition of Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David. I'm your host.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Scoreboard on ACTN. Well, joining me now is, we talk sports, we talk people who are involved in sports, whether, you could be behind the scenes, on the field, or whatever it is. We have 2 young chaps here with us who represent the football 4TRESS. We have the founder of this media blog, David Scarlett. David, it's a pleasure. We have one of its presenter, Chris Selman. Gentlemen, welcome to Scoreboard on ACTN. The football 4TRESS, let's talk a bit about what it entails, what it is about. It's a media blog, yes, but I know that it started in 2018, but you all have transformed now from just being on Facebook now to having a YouTube channel. Tell me about the inception and how it went on.
Oh, well, it actually started after my final semester in UE, because I did written com, and I wrote articles for the course, for coursework on exam and stuff. And people liked my work, and they told me that I should start writing articles in football. So in 2018, I had a poll on Facebook asking people if they wanted to see articles on the World Cup. And the majority of them was yes, so I did start it off, but it didn't start off as the Football 4TRESS, it started off as the Scarlet panel, because I wanted it to not only be about football, because I like comics, I like Marvel and superhero movies, so I wanted to include comic books into that as well, and live articles as well, live blogs, and I did start a live blog on it as well. But like about 4 or 5 games into writing articles for the World Cup, I decided that it should be a football website. And then I searched for hours for a name for the blog. And I came up at the Football Informer. But I thought that Football Informer would just be focusing on me. And I wanted to have a team of people coming in to transform it from being a blog to being a media company. So I rebranded the Football Informer to be the Football 4TRESS, and that's how it ended up being.
So basically, what you all do? Everything about football?
Well,
there's certain aspects.
There's certain aspects about football. We cover the Premier League, sometimes Champions League and Europa League, and school football, SSFL.
Right, and your presenter, your role now is what? You're bringing people randomly to.
No, well, I brought in Chris because I wanted to start Tier 4 TV, our YouTube channel, right after I started the blog. But I didn't have people I knew I could work with, and I didn't have equipment, and I didn't have a place to record. But then I thought that I know Chris wanted to do a FIFA show, so I thought I could bring him in to create his own content, because he didn't have the platform. He wasn't confident enough to start his own YouTube channel. So I thought I could bring him in. And the first show on the channel could have been me and him, and then we will branch off into our own separate show. So that's how I brought him in.
So how has it been going so far for you?
When David approached me firstly with the idea for the show, I hadn't expressed to him before my desire to be on YouTube or anything like that. So it felt like it was almost like destiny. We had to come up with this show, and since the inception of the YouTube channel and we hosting this Premier League show, it's been fun. That's the main thing, because we are very passionate about football. I know he's passionate about his team, I'm passionate about my team, so sometimes we might have some clashes there. But it's been very fun, and I just enjoying the journey so far.
What's the response like now?
Well, we started off with a good bit of views, and the numbers kind of decreased after like about 6 weeks in. But we have been getting good response. We have been getting a lot of comments on videos, and we read comments on our show, and that encourages feedback.
Where do you see this whole thing going next year, 2 years? So what do you like to get out of it?
A much bigger media company. I want to be an established media house, not only in Trinidad but in the Caribbean and internationally as well.
Okay. When you say a media house,
you're aware of Bleacher Report?
Yeah.
Bleacher Report started off kind of like us. They started off as a Facebook page, and they grew into this big media company it is today.
Okay.
And that is why I want to come out of here for.
Okay. So when you say this media company, where are you all located now, and what are some of the things that you would like the public to know about the 4TRESS?
Well, we do actually have a location. We barely even have a set. We just record where we can, basically.
Okay.
Regards of what about the public, I want this channel, TF4 TV, to be a platform where people can create content. So not only me and Chris, I want people who do have the platform, the confidence.
But like only in football?
Yeah, only football. Yeah.
Only in football.
But I have been considering like making a new channel and linking it to.
Because the Bleacher Report is.
Yeah, they have basketball.
Yeah, they have. I follow the NBA through them. Yeah.
So I was planning on doing something like that, branching off, having different branches of this media house, and TF4 would just be one of them. Yeah. I was actually planning on starting a music channel because I do music as well.
Yeah, I know you're the drummer in your in your church.
Yeah, so I was planning on starting a music channel and having people coming and doing covers and singing and playing instruments and displaying their talent.
To add to what David was saying also, I know we eventually would like to also have fans come onto the show and give their opinion on whether it be their team or the Premier League. And we know football is an opinionated game, so it would be, that's one avenue I think we want to go down.
Yeah, but you're saying you want people to come on the show, but you all just said that you all don't have a
no, eventually.
No, eventually, yeah. But we have had one guy on the show.
So where you all actually do taping?
In church. In church.
Okay, all right.
Until we get actual.
All right, okay. So you all have the permission to use the church. What do you think is the biggest your biggest challenge right now you're facing?
Equipment. We do have the equipment to record how we want, where we want, when we want. Like yesterday we were supposed to do an episode, but due to circumstances we couldn't record, and we haven't recorded in 3 months due to circumstances out of our control.
But you think that now will hinder you all in losing viewership?
Yeah, it would. But
because if somebody not seeing you regular, they tend to.
Yeah, but we are working on a project currently that will bring back viewers.
And next thing is you're not active, and then somebody could just come now, basically with the same. You all have registered.
No.
You see that's the next thing. You're doing something and it didn't register, right? Somebody could just come there, so who have the equipment and the means about it now, and just copy what you're all doing now and start to run with that, right? Now you all have no means of stopping them because you ain't register. So I think one of the steps that if you all want to go further with this thing, the first thing you're supposed to do is to register the name. The brand registered, so then that's yours. So even if you record for 2-3 months or something, nobody can come and you understand?
Yeah.
So that's what you all need to do. But when you look at it, do you all think that it is actually feasible for you all to build and create and then get out of it exactly what you all want in 5-10 years down the road?
Yes. Because I actually am going to start my master's in sports journalism this year. And I think that will help me in building what we have right now. And even when I'm in England doing my master's, I could create content there and bring content creators from England on the channel and help to build the channel.
So you will be traveling to go and do your masters.
Yeah.
So then, how are you all going to be?
No, but our show would just be on standby, but he will have the means to create his own content. He could start his own show with someone else.
Okay.
And I would just start another show with someone else, or I could start my own show.
And you merge it.
It's the channel, and we have different shows on the channel.
So when you expect to travel?
August.
Yeah, so that doesn't give you all much time to start to put, things in place. Are you ready for that? Yeah.
I believe I am. I always had a passion. My background, I've done stuff in film before.
Okay.
So in terms of, as David was saying, it's just really the fair putting yourself out there, in terms of a creator. So, I mean, David kind of helped bring me out of that shell, and I was able to more express myself creatively. And I'm definitely willing to take that challenge on. And I know there's a lot more avenues in terms of football that we still haven't tapped into as yet now. And we in the age of social media now, so I mean, I think there's a lot of room for us to grow as well now.
And that's my goal, not only for him, but for anybody who wants to create content on the channel, to bring them out of the fear aspect, the no confidence aspect, and give them a platform to create the content.
But they say people who in film not supposed to have that fear. How you?
No,
Or you behind the camera, talking about the front.
I love being behind the camera. That's really where my spot is. In terms of just being the creator,
you're good with that.
Instead of being the talent, that's not really my position. Right? So in terms of being behind the camera, I believe that's really where I'm supposed to be. But because of David asked me a couple times to be in front of the camera for the show, so he had to kind of encourage me.
Convincing.
Yeah, he had to convince me.
What's like the feedback? What like coming from people? What does be telling all
the people have spoken that has watched the show. Some people don't know much about football, but they still watch the show because it is entertaining, because they know us, they get their banter, watching us do our thing on camera. So the feedback has been positive. I just think if we could find a little more consistency in our production, I think that is where we would actually hit our stride.
And even people who don't know us, they enjoy the content that we create. The only criticism we have received is the production quality, because we do really have a set. So the production quality isn't what it's supposed to be like, and that's the only criticism. But most of the people enjoy the show so far.
I know you said that you're doing more SSFL games. Are you doing like the whole games or just segments of the game?
No, actually not like. More like getting fans' opinions on the game.
Oh, not actually the game.
No, not actually the game. But that's not what this channel is about. This channel is not to cover a game, because every other media house, covering the games. So I don't want to interview fans. I don't want to interview players and coaches and all that. I want to interview fans. I want fans' opinions, and I want fans to be able to express their opinions, especially school fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, how they go about that?
Well, you could follow us on Instagram at the Football Fortress, and you could find us on Facebook at the Football Fortress.
Anything you would like to say to your fans outside?
Stay tuned. More is coming.
More is
in
coming.
2020.
And if you want to create content on the channel, contact us, and we'll give you your own show.
And it's football only?
Yeah, football.
Right.
For now.
For now, right. Well, gentlemen, it was a pleasure chatting with you all. Let me all wish you all the best, and I hope that in 5 years or 10 years, you all have in your own media house. What's the projected
About 5 years.
5 years? You sound real confident about it. Well, let me wish you all the best, and I'll chat with you all again and from time to time and see how things are going. Right, so again, thank you very much. Well, viewers, we have come to the end of another edition of Scoreboard on ACTN. We spoke to Noyoshia Cain Claxton, the female para-Olympian who is heavy in training now because she has qualified for the Olympics in Tokyo. We want to wish her all the best and great success, and we also want to thank David and Chris, members of the Football Fortress, as they go ahead with their media blog. I wish them all the best because the ideas are great and It's just to be motivated now to accomplish what they have set out to accomplish. So if you miss any part of this program, there's a repeat tomorrow at 1 p.m. Join us next week, right here, same time, same channel. Do have a blessed week ahead. We catch you next week.